know.
I'm Jared.
So right now you are in sort of the lounge or study of the house. This was a room that was often used by women. That they would go and they would seclude themselves from after like a long day's work, and they would come and make clothing, they would read, or they would socialize with their guests. And in this kind of a room, women would they would normally nurse their children, make clothes. It was a work room for women. Men didn't often use these kinds of rooms because they were often out in the day working. Most of the time they come home, they eat, they sit by the fire, and then they go to bed. But this room was most definitely used by mainly women. And when they would make clothes on large spinning wheels like these, they would store them in chests such as this. Now, can any of you guess how old you think this chest is?
1500s.
That is an extremely good guess. This chest is older than the nation you're in right now.
What?
This chest was brought over by British colonists in the 1500s, and to them, it was just a normal clothing chest. But this chest here is older than the United States, and it was used to store clothing.
Even though that's less clothes than I have, but...
What is your name?
Alanis.
Alanis, around the room right now, what do you see that interests you? Anything that looks peculiar?
The clothes.
These? So these are girls' dresses. Like those dresses over there. Those are women's dresses, and these are girls' dresses. And these are the kinds of dresses that mothers would make for their kids on spinning wheels like these. And different dresses have different meanings to them. This is more of a formal dress. This would be the dress that like a girl would wear to go to church, or if there were guests coming, they would dress up. And this is more of like a lounge blanket sort of dress. They would wear something like that. They would drape themselves in it when it was close to bed.
Pretty different than what you guys have now. All right. What's your name?
Michael.
Can you repeat that?
Michael.
Can you tell me anything in this room that interests you?
These large things.
All right. Now, can anyone tell me what you think they are?
What do you think they're made out of?
Yes.
Plastic. Sewing.
I'm sorry?
Wood. The spinning wheels.
Fabric? Not quite.
Wood.
Wood? Not quite either.
Plastic.
No.
Plastic wasn't probably.
I know.
It's hair.
Human hair.
Human hair. Yes. And flowers.
So those are called hair sculptures. And when someone would die, as a way to commemorate them, they would often shave their head, and they would make little sculptures out of their hair. Ones often like that.
And now, also, when someone would die, they would take a wax model of their face, and then they would put it in cast iron to make one of these, a death mask. Now, this is a death mask of the first preacher in West Springfield. You go,
He was
touch it if you
in
want.
charge of running the church and the graveyard. He'd bury the dead.
Hi, preacher.
His nostrils are covered up.
You should just be kidding.
Okay, so does anybody else see anything they think's interesting?
What's this thing?
That?
This?
Yeah.
So this is something that women would wear under their dresses, so that their dress would be more poofy, and it would stand out more.
I thought that was a laundry.
It's not a laundry basket. They used to be made out of wood, but wood is obviously very, very heavy and very, very uncomfortable, and you can't really sit down. So this would go around your waist, and then you would wear a dress over that, so your dress would stand out more. And this is something that you would definitely wear under your dress if you were going to go to, say, a ball or a wedding, or you're going to go to church. It was a very, I don't want to say like middle class sort of style of dress, but it was very, you had to be very rich, and you would wear them often to really show off the dress that you were wearing.
Does anyone else have anything? What's your name?
Edward. What is this?
you know how the sewing machines now are electronic or like mechanical and they go on their own? This is an older one. See the pedal on the bottom? You push that to make it work, and that's how they would sew the clothes together.
And then while we're over here at this table, you'll see a small metal device right there called a buttonhole cutter. And it's exactly what it sounds like. So like my shirt right now, it has buttons in them, and it's got these holes right here. Well, back then, you can't just like take a knife and like claw at the shirt and hope that it gets the right size. So they make buttonhole makers, so that when they take buttons like those on the table over there, they could actually sew them onto the shirt, and it would make buttonholes accordingly. What's your name? Irina. What's your question? Down here? So this, down here, these are called wool cards. And so in order to make clothing, you need wool and cotton and fabric. So before you would take the wool from like a sheep that you would shear and put it on something like a spinning wheel, you have to straighten it out. And so these wool cards have fine metal bristles on either side of them. And so what you would do is you'd take a big chunk of wool and you would rub them against each other to straighten out the wool. Because you can't just take like a big bundle of this and throw it in the spinning wheel, it won't work. So you have to straighten it out so it's long and stringy.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, I think we have, time's up? Yep. Okay. Well, thank you guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of the tour downstairs.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Hey guys, this is the crib where all the day house kids slept in. You guys want to come over here? You could lightly touch it, come get a closer look at it. This is what all the kids slept in. And then, have you guys ever heard the term sleep tight?
Yeah.
Where do you guys think it comes from?
There.
You got a hint? What do you have?
From tying the bed covers.
Perfectly right. These strings, they're what keep the bed up, of course. So you would use tools like these to make sure the bed was extra tight so that no one would fall in the night.
So this bed is basically made out of string back then, and what you had to do is make it sturdy so you can sleep on it.
Correct,
Yes.
Amanda. That was really smart.
Very
And then
good.
you guys can see these right here. This is called a bedpan. So instead of going out to the outhouse,
That
you
looks
just
like a bird house.
That's
This is a
what I
model of
said.
an outhouse.
That's what I
yeah.
said. But
Cool.
Yeah.
the bedpan is what people would urinate in when they when they couldn't go to the outhouse late at night. So this is the bedpan. You guys could gently touch it. This is what it looked like. It's what everyone would urinate in at night.
It's a spider web on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cleaned it.
And then this is the outhouse, nicknamed the Little John.
Name is Little John.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the name on top of that little crescent.
Yep. All right, guys. I'll lead you guys over to Jackie.
So if you'll turn around and look over here, what do you think these two things are? Any guesses?
Almost looks like a pan to me for that one.
It is sort of like a pan. Do you have a guess?
Probably to make like eggs.
Not quite. So on cold nights, it would be very cold up here because they didn't have heating systems like you and I do.
If it was winter or something?
Yes, if it was winter. They would put coals in this bottom part of this stick here, and they would put it between the sheets on the bed to make the bed warmer so that they could sleep in it, you know?
It's in your back pocket.
Bed warmer?
Yes, like a bed warmer. And then later, they would fill this with hot water from their stove downstairs, and they would put it at the end of their bed to keep their feet warm. So it's kind of like a heated blanket, sort of. And then if you'll follow me over here, I'll show you our shaving mug. Now, you guys, you're going to grow beards. You're going to have to shave eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So if you look, these are what men used to use to shave back in the days of the Josiah Day house. And you go to the doctor, right?
Yeah.
And you get your shots?
Yeah.
So you know there's a shot called a tetanus shot.
I have 4 shots once.
You had 4 shots? Wow. That's a lot. So there's a thing called a tetanus shot, and that protects you against this disease that you can get by cutting yourself with a rusted piece of metal. And back in the day, the men didn't have that. And
What is that disease called?
tetanus.
Tetanus.
Yes. So you're not going to get tetanus because you have your shots. But back in the day, they didn't have vaccinations. So there's a cool story about a guy named Henry David Thoreau. Thoreau? Do you know? You probably don't know who that is. He was a big, he was really into this movement called the Transcendentalism movement that kind of like revolutionized American way of thinking. And it is said that he would never have been as great as he was if he hadn't had the experiences that he had in his life. His brother, who he was very close to, one day cut himself while shaving. And a few days later, the cut got infected, and he went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "There's nothing I can do for you, you're going to die." And it was because he had cut himself with his rusty razor, and he got tetanus, and there was no way to save him. So
tetanus is caused by shaving yourself with a rusty metal?
by cutting yourself with a piece of rusty metal.
Oh.
Yes. So
That part is infected and goes to
yes,
the body?
yes, but had he had the vaccination that you all have had, he wouldn't have gotten tetanus, and he would have survived. So we can thank modern day vaccinations.
Thank you, Monica.
And I'll send you on over to my friend Spiros over here.
Hi. If you guys come over here, you guys can see these things on the wall. They're called samplers. And these were sewn by the people in the day house. Do you want to guess how old the people were who sewed those?
37?
They're actually around just 10 or 12. They were young. Little girls would use these. When they were learning to spell and sew, you can see they were doing it to different people.
Oh,
This one
wow.
says was made by a day house kid.
Though.
Yeah. They would learn the alphabet, and they would learn the letters, and they would learn how to sew at the same time. And you can see this was made in 1820 right here.
They did cursive,
Yes.
normal, lowercase, and capitals.
Yep, that's how they learned. Because
And they did numbers too.
Yep.
From here. That's
you can
cool.
see. Yeah.
How did they do this anyway? How were they able to make this?
They would sew. And they were
Oh,
taught
yes.
at a young age how to sew. That's how they would learn.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And if you guys look here, you can see different quotes and stuff that they use. You can touch them if you want to lightly.
Because Mendon's.
It's so soft. It feels like a blanket.
Yeah. That's what they were used for, yeah.
Goes and goes, baby.
All right. Any questions you guys have about the room? Anything here?
Anything that really interests you about this room
Well,
you'd like us to talk about?
basically what interests me, and I have a question is, the question I have is, for the bed, how do they not burn it by putting the coal under the bed?
That's a really good question.
Well, the coal's contained inside that metal pan. So
Yeah.
the metal gets hot, but the coal doesn't actually touch the bed. And you don't want to leave it in there and try to fry the bed. You just kind of run it over the sheets quickly, just to take the cold edge off. You know?
Oh, take the
You know
coal.
how when
so
you get into a
so
bed-
you like, so it's like you're sweeping, like you're doing.
Yeah, you just
that.
do a quick sweeping.
Yeah.
You know how when you
Just
were a
like
kid,
that.
you get into the bed and the bed sheets are cold in the winter, and it's like, oh, well, this takes that edge off. That's all.
I just want to keep my body a little warm and a
We
little
all
cold
do.
at the same time. Because whenever I reach the limit of one of them, I always want to do the opposite.
You go there, yeah, you
Yeah.
do a heat threshold, no good, cold threshold, no good. You want a happy medium.
Yeah,
That's what I've always said.
for
That's
sure.
how my body reacts. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very common.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
You guys are awesome. What school are you
Yeah.
guys from?
Memorial School.
Yes, one of my favorite West Side schools. I'm Mr.
Mr.
Savek, and you
Rue?
guys, I'll be around when you get to high school. Ask Spiro.
Yeah.
He's never leaving.
Our other teacher.
So, guys, so what are your thoughts on this whole experience? I'm going to start with you, Mr. Savek.
Nick, I got to tell you something. I look at these young people here who have completed the AP program, and of course Jackie, who's in the pre-AP and has done an outstanding job this year, as our future in this community. You know, I'm trying to bring kids a closer connectivity to the old day house and our community museum and our community's history. And seeing these guys step up and work with these fifth graders the way they have, just, I mean, I can't say enough. They're exceeding my expectations, honestly. The passion, the enthusiasm, it's just something else. And I hope the viewers back at home agree with me. Outstanding, outstanding.
Awesome, and Dr. Prones, what are your thoughts on this whole experience too? Like, you know, I know you just got here, and you know, so what are your thoughts?
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for our students, but also for the community. It's great that our students working with fifth graders in a place like this that is filled with West Side memorabilia and history. It's very important. And the more opportunities we can have our students out in the community working with the elementary school and the middle school students, the better it is for them and for the community.
Awesome, and any of you guys want to add anything?
I just think it's a really great experience for both us and for the fifth graders because history means a lot to us, I know, and it's great to include them in something that we're very passionate about.
I 100% agree with her and Dr. Perone and Mr. Speck, of course, that this is just a great experience to have all the high schoolers together along with the fifth graders and just show them a piece of history in West Side.
I think it's very nice because we were once, young fifth graders coming here, and one day those fifth graders will be giving tours too. So I think it's nice to give back to the community.
Spiros has just summed it up. He put the cherry on the ice cream here. The class of 2018, and in Jackie's case 19, working with the class of 2000. I'm doing some math here, Spiros. 2024, I think it is. 25. I don't know. But they're never going to forget the tour. You didn't forget the tour, and they're going to remember you. You're part of their educational experience, and it's really cool. So,
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys.
thank you, Nick.